All right, so the Chiefs edge it out over the 49ers, man. I was kind of upset. I'm not a big Chiefs fan. I'm not a big 49ers fan, but NFC, you got to go for your team, man. They ended up pulling it out. They did some underhanded stuff, but I mean, it's football now. Come on. We saw a surprise ad for RFK Jr. during this thing. What? RFK Jr. is coming out strong now. What? Honestly, if it came down to Nikki Haley, Joe Biden, or RFK Jr., you could probably guess who the hell I would vote for. I would go definitely in a heartbeat for RFK Jr., even though he's a Democrat. He's running as an independent, of course, because they're not going to allow him on the Democratic ticket with Joe Biden being as compromised as Joe Biden is. But the Chiefs edge it out. Gotta give them 2 years in a row, man. 2 years in a row. They doing pretty good. They doing pretty damn good, I guess. I kind of blew some people's theories that they thought that, Taylor Swift was going to get proposed to, but I guess that didn't happen, so I'm glad I didn't buy into that theory. I'm not big on conspiracy theories. I'm more of the opinion that people can't get along that well for conspiracy theories like that to work all that great for the most part. People just don't get along, and to keep something secret like that, it's like, come on, stop with that. We kind of logical around here, if you know what I mean. Trump, of course, is asking for his trial date to be pushed back, naturally. That's what the articles are saying, at least. But we're going to see how that's going to play out. It's looking like the ballot case has been blown apart. I haven't really covered that yet because I kind of wanted to wait and see what the Supreme Court is actually going to say. But if you were listening to their remarks, holy crap, they tore into those Colorado lawyers, man. Those Colorado lawyers are fairly stupid, if you ask me. And it shows the derangement of people. They're just out to get Trump. It's just absolutely insane. We had some climate protesters arrested outside of the Biden campaign headquarters. That's kind of crazy, right? You would figure they would go after somebody else, but no, hell no. Everybody's going after Biden, it seems like. Kamala Harris says she's ready to take over. So now we get a choice between somebody with dementia who's almost brain dead and what? No, I'm sorry, but Kamala Harris might actually be better than Joe Biden, to be honest with you. She might not be, smart. A lot of people, they compare her a lot to Forrest Gump because of how she talks, right? She gets up, she does these speeches. She sounds like an idiot. I don't blame them for saying that. But, when I'm hearing these comparisons to Forrest Gump, I'm thinking in my head, hang on, didn't Forrest Gump start a multi-million-dollar shrimping company? And you think about that comparison there for a minute. What's up, everybody? How the hell's your day going? I hope y'all having a pretty good day. This here's Legitical Response. We cover political news, keep you up to date, keep you informed, so you can stay in the fight and stay on top of stuff. So if you're interested in staying informed and keeping up with what the government's doing, smash that subscribe button for me and turn on your notifications. And if you also could, please just smash that like button for me. If you don't mind, it would be a very, very big help. And I would be thankful. Yeah. I said something different this time, huh? But, and I hate to harp on stuff. I hate to cover the same thing 2 days in a row. However, we've got some new evidence, I guess, as it were, to come out. Let's get into it right quick, y'all. Check this out. Senate Republican argues Ukraine funding could lead to Trump impeachment. Yes, J.D. Vance. I got to give my props to J.D. Vance on this one. He was reading through this text on this thing, and he found an impeachment trigger, if you want to call it that. It's over the same thing they tried to impeach him for the first time, right? It's all BS. Talking about violating budget law. Yeah, they're putting provisions in to this Senate, this Ukraine funding package that they're doing now that they've canceled the border security or border business as usual package. Now that failed, they're just saying, screw the border security, right? Which really wasn't border security when we read through it. They're just going ahead and let's just give them billions and billions and billions of dollars for no freaking reason whatsoever. Now, when they went through that Senate bill, there was provisions in there that basically would force Trump to allow X amount of illegal migrants to come in, right? It was another impeachment trigger that if he didn't follow this law, that he could be impeached for violating the law, right? They refuse to impeach Alejandro Mayorkas for violating U.S. federal law, for violating immigration law. But they put these provisions in there to hamper Trump. Trump would be forced to allow X amount of migrants in. They'd be forced to expand asylum claims, right? That they bring in the bar way down on asylum claims. It's all absolutely absurd. But let's get into this right quick, and we'll break it all down right fast. All right, here we go. Republican Senator J.D. Vance argued Monday that the latest Senate proposal to fund Ukraine and Israel could spark an impeachment of former President Trump if he is reelected in November. You mean when he's reelected in November, because it's not looking good for anybody else right now. Vance sent a memo to each of his Republican colleagues in the Senate claiming an impeachment time bomb is buried in the bill's text in the case Trump should try to halt funding for Ukraine while president. The supplemental represents an attempt by the foreign policy blob/deep state to stop President Trump from pursuing his desired policy, and if he does so anyways, to provide grounds to impeach him and undermine his administration, Vance wrote in his memo calling for all Republicans to oppose the bill's passage. Yeah, they shouldn't pass this anyway. We need to stop that war in Ukraine. We need to tell Putin, hey, put your brakes on. Let's stop all the fighting. Let's stop all the killing of humans and settle this like adults, right? Because what are we doing right now? We're seeing some people over here fighting, and what are we doing? We're egging on the fight. We're just saying, yeah, hey, kill this guy, kill him, go ahead. Oh, you need some money? Here's some money. Here's a gun, shoot him. It's ridiculous. I don't know why we're doing this. I've been screaming about, hey, let's send some negotiators over there so we can get some kind of peace deal going. However, when they tried to do that in the first place, old Boris Johnson comes in and wrecks the whole damn thing. Says, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to fight Russia all the way to the dirty end. What? What do you mean we're going to fight Russia? Y'all ain't fighting Russia. It's Ukraine fighting Russia. We're just funding their war. That's all we're doing. It should actually aggravate Ukrainians that we're just giving them money to send their soldiers to die, while at the same time killing Russian soldiers. So it's like all this killing going on just needs to stop. The proposed aid for Ukraine totals $60 billion and is part of a larger $95.3 billion package that also includes funding for Israel in its fight against Palestinian militant group Hamas or terrorists, humanitarian assistance for Palestinians in Gaza, the West Bank, and funds for U.S. allies in the Indo-Pacific, mainly Taiwan. In his memo, Vance contended the foreign aid bill includes $1.6 billion for foreign military financing in Ukraine and $13.7 billion for the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative, which both are slated to expire September 30th, 2025, nearly 9 months into the possible second term for Trump. He pointed to the December 19th impeachment of Trump when the Democratic House majority impeached the former president for his dealings with Ukraine, including decisions to pause funding to Kyiv. The Senate later voted to acquit Trump on impeachment charges of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress in February 2020 because it was all bullshit. The Ohio Republican, a staunch ally of the former president, argued if Trump were to withdraw or pause financial support for Ukraine's war in order to bring the conflict to a peaceful conclusion, lawmakers could argue he violated budget law as they did with the prior impeachment. That's right. That's what they want to do. They want to continue this war for some reason. We have to sit back and think, why are they doing this? Why do these people want to fund this war so badly? right? Why do they want people to die? Why do they want people to suffer in a war? I don't understand it. I think it needs to come to a stop. And I think you probably believe the same thing. I hope you do. Because sure, Putin's a bad guy for invading. He's got his reasons. I don't agree with those reasons. I think that his reasons is he wants a land bridge to Crimea so he can have access to the Black Sea and not have to go through some other country or go through Crimea to get there, right? That's what I think. That's my personal belief. He says he's going in to denazify. He says he's going in there to stop the war. He calls the 2014 referendum a coup. You can look at it that way if you want to. Just because there's a coup in a neighboring country doesn't justify you putting military boots on the ground in that country for whatever reason, right? You want to denazify a different country? That's kind of fascist, don't you think? Now, I don't agree with the Nazi or neo-Nazi movement. I think it should be totally extinguished. However, these people have the right to believe what they want to believe. I don't think they should believe that. But the way you fight that is through culture. You don't fight that through shooting with guns. You don't force culture on people. I've said this time and again. Trump has repeatedly claimed he could end Ukraine's war with Russia in 24 hours and has called for a pause in aid to the war-torn country in the past as the conflict approaches its 2-year mark. The former president lambasted the Senate's foreign aid bill over the weekend. They want to give like almost $100 billion to a few countries. $100 billion, Trump said at a rally in South Carolina. I said, why do we do this? If you do, you give them not $100 billion. You give it to them as a loan. Hey, I think that's a great idea. I would be down with that. Pay it back whenever the hell you can. But how the hell are we loaning out money when we have a $34 trillion debt? That makes no sense, folks. But, hey, the world seems to work that way, so whatever. The Senate voted to move the package one step closer to its final passage Sunday, dipping into what was supposed to be a two-week recess. The bill comes after the dramatic collapse of a bipartisan border security package due to GOP opposition. Now, hang on just a minute. That's a lie. It wasn't due to GOP opposition. What are you talking about? That bill failed 48 to 52, right? Now, if you know the numbers in the Senate, the Democrats have a majority in the Senate. So that means that at least 4 Democrats voted against this bill. That's right. So it wasn't GOP opposition. The Hill is lying. They're trying to make it look like Republicans are stopping them. No, the Republicans in the Senate can't stop the Democrats from doing anything because the Democrats have the majority. Makes no sense. But like I said, mainstream narrative machine, that's what we do. We like to retwist the facts and get everything straight. Trump also urged Senate Republicans to oppose that bill, which he called a death wish package, causing some lawmakers to accuse the former president of using it as an issue to campaign against President Biden. The final vote to pass the foreign aid bill is expected in the Senate this week, and I hope to goodness this thing fails. We don't need to be funding this war. If you want to put a package together to fund some negotiators to go over there and sit down with Putin and work out some sort of a deal, right? Hey, you get to keep Crimea. Whatever. Keep your land bridge. Hey, get out of the mainland Ukraine. You can keep Crimea, but you got to get out of this region. Work something out. I don't have the answer for it. But these people, they know the history, they know the lay of the land, and they know what they can work with and what they can deal with. You got to work something out. I'm sure if Ukraine agrees to not join NATO, Russia would be fine with that. As a matter of fact, he's already said that before. In that past negotiation, the very first one, when they pulled all their troops out of northern Ukraine, there was a negotiation going on. And he pulled all of his damn troops out. But it's stuff like this massive funding bill for foreign wars. Why do these people want to fund war so much, right? They try to get the American people to get behind them. Oh, well, they're defending themselves and all this and that. Well, yeah, sure. That's good. Defend yourself. But at some point, the fighting has to come to a close. You can't just continue to fund an endless war. What is the point? At some point, it becomes about human lives. And right now, we've lost well over 500,000 soldiers and civilians in this this Russian invasion. I'll put it that way. We've lost a lot of people over there. And, Israel isn't doing any better. They're going way over the top. Like I said, that's an even more complicated situation because Israel's surrounded by, enemies. Not totally surrounded because they're kind of on the good level with Egypt right now. They used to not be. They went to war at one point and they gave the entirety of the Sinai Peninsula back to them because that's a long story. I'm not going to get drug out into that one. So I'm trying to keep this a little bit short, but you get the point. There needs to be a negotiation. There needs to be some sort of an end point to this. We need to know what are we going to do? Are we going to help Ukraine rebuild? Because I'm sure we're going to be involved in that some sort of way, right? So we need to stop the fighting as soon as possible. But it makes you think, why do these people want to continue funding war? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. You can't use that argument, oh, well, we're just, helping the military-industrial complex, because that is a very anti-human argument. Oh, we're funding the military-industrial complex by killing civilians and soldiers in a foreign country. That doesn't work, folks. But let me know what you think about all this down in the comments section, because I'd really like to hear from you guys. Should the Senate pass this bill, or should these people get their minds right and send some negotiators over there to stop the fighting? That's what I think we should do. Let me know what you think we should do down in the comments section. And that's all I got for this one, y'all. I want to thank everybody for watching. Hey, and if you're new around here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And please, hit the like if you don't mind. It would be a big help, and I'd be appreciative. Thanks, y'all. Y'all have a good one. And be positive. Peace.